You take a look at the 3 games coming up on Thanksgiving. 3 games, 6 coaches. All 6 coaches lost yesterday. So the theme is step into the office. It's very interesting. Good job, Matt. And we'll start with Matt Nagy coming in off the loss at home. Now he'll travel and lay 3.5 on the road at Detroit. What would you say to Matt?
Well, I'd say, Matt, look, I think that this. Don't worry about your job, Matt. Don't worry about anything other than this next game. Don't worry about the losing streak. Just do everything in your power to find a way to go play on the road, run the football against Detroit. Don't make mistakes. The only way we're going to lose this game is if we turn the ball over. Let Justin Fields play because they're slow on defense, and they'll have a hard time handling him if he's healthy. So let's go in there and be very, very careful about what we're trying to get done. Be precise with the football. Run it, run it, run it. Because when we've been pretty good offensively, we have had some balance. Run the football, throw it well against cover 2, and then just play good defense and put pressure on this quarterback and see if they can make any plays. This game, we're the better team. Let's act like it.
Okay, so Matt Nagy leaves. His counterpart walks into your office, and that is, of course, Lions head coach Dan Campbell. What do you say to him?
Well, I'd say, Dan, look, I think the one thing I admire, your team's played hard, but we got to get better play at quarterback, right? We've got to get better play at quarterback. We can't throw for 77. Oh, we threw for 77 yards, against the, the Steelers the week before, right? So we've got to be able to play better. We've had 2 weeks in a row where we've thrown for 77 yards. Like, we can't do that. We've got to find a way to get a passing game, especially in Chicago where they have a weakness. If David Bly is the worst quarterback, then let's find somebody else who's better. If Goff can't go, but we can't play Tim Boyle. I mean, when in the history of football has a team come off a bye and has thrown for 77 yards 2 consecutive weeks in a row and have scored basically 26 points? Like, we got to change. We got to change what we're doing. We got to find a way to throw the football more effectively because we can't win games without throwing the ball. And you could say, well, our defense, we've created 5 turnovers with our defense, right? We've played half decent. Now, we can't stop the run on defense, so expect the Bears to run the ball. But we've got to find a way to have the forward pass be part of our offense, unless you want to go all single wing.
Shout to Otto Graham. Hey, and Dan, thank you for stopping by. I'm sure you'll stop by a 7-Eleven and grab a Monster on the way home. It's good to have you in town. Let's go next here. Rich Bisaccia. He is the Raiders head coach. They lost yesterday. What would you say to Rich?
Rich, I think, look, you're in a tough spot. You can't really walk in the offensive room. You can't walk in the defensive room. And we got to get better in the kicking game. So I think what you've got to be able to do is be more demanding at practice and find a way to get these details cleaned up. Too many penalties, too many stupid mistakes, and let's get rid of the players that can't play. I mean, let's just go start benching guys. Like, you don't have to be Mr. Congeniality around here. Like, if you know a guy's a bad player, put him on the bench. Jonathan Abram can't cover anybody. Get him on the bench. He's not going to help us against Dallas. He can't cover anybody. I don't care if he's a first-round pick or not. We're all going to get fired anyway. Doesn't matter that a guy's a first-rounder. Play the best players. Put some fear into the players. Hold them accountable. Take away the excuse that Gruden's not here, that Ruggs isn't here, that, Arnett's not here. Take away all the excuses. Start holding the players accountable for their mistakes and demand more from the coaches.
His counterpart, Rich Bisaccia, will be, of course, Mike McCarthy, coming off the loss in Kansas City. What would you say to Mike?
I would say, Mike, look, this is about us. I think in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we've lost 2 games. And really, we lost those 2 games because it was us. They didn't beat us. We dropped the ball. We were negligent in our preparation. We didn't do the things we needed to do to win. And we've got to protect the quarterback. Let's help out Steele at left tackle, or unless we get Tyron Smith back, then we go. But let's find a way to have some balance. We can't run the ball 16 times. We're a running team, a big offensive line. That was a 19-9 game. We got to figure out a way to run the football. It can't always be throwing it. We've got to figure out to get some balance in what we're doing. Plus, we have got to spend more time on our fundamentals. We got to get in pads. Our pad levels got to get better. We've got to practice harder because we have beaten ourselves 2 of the last 3 weeks. It's really about us. We're talented enough to win this whole thing. It's going to come down to how much detail we emphasize in practice, and that's on you.
Okay, the nightcap on Thanksgiving is going to be Buffalo, New Orleans. Right now, Buffalo's laying 4.5 at New Orleans. We'll start with Bills head coach Sean McDermott.
You know, I think we have lost our identity a little bit on offense. And I know Josh Allen's great, and I know he does a lot of things that covers up for the sins in our offensive line. But we are the further away we get from trying to be physical and tough, the softer we're becoming. And when we go to play in these December games, we're going to need mental toughness. And right now, we lack some mental toughness. We need to figure out how we're going to play better in the offensive line. We can't rely on Josh Allen just being Superman and making all the plays. And we can't rely on his arm and his ability to make pass plays all over the field. We've got to get tougher. We've got to be able to do that, and we've got to play from in front. Our defense is better when we can play from in front, not from behind.
Bless you.
And that cologne you're wearing is made me sneeze, and I apologize, Sean.
Yeah, Sean. Hey, Sean, can you lay off the Davidoff or whatever the hell you're wearing there? Because it's bothering my guy. It's getting in his allergies. Okay, next up, and a guy I know you really respect coming off a loss here, Sean Payton steps into the office.
You know, Sean, you got to explain to me why we paid Taysom Hill all this money, and then he said, do not play yesterday. Now, maybe because he's injured and you just had him up. You know, and if that's the case, why do we have him up? But to me, it seems like for a team we're really tight on the cap. Why aren't we? I want to see him play quarterback. I want to see if we have a future quarterback, because right now we don't. We're not going to sign Winston back next year. We're going to have some cap issues. I mean, let's find out what we have. We can beat Buffalo. We can run the football against Buffalo. We can control time of possession. We can make it hard for them. We'll put pressure on Allen. I mean, Jacksonville beat them on their field. We can beat them on our field. They're not unbeatable, but we've got to execute, and we've got to have more dynamic play from our quarterback position. And it may not be Taysom Hill. I may be completely wrong that he's not good enough, right? But we owe him. We can't have a do not play. We can't have that. Look, the Eagle game was one of those games where we've lost. The Tennessee game, we lost that game too. We turned the ball over too much at Tennessee. We got to stop beating ourselves. Maybe it's Hill. I don't know, but I think we deserve the chance to see.
So there it is, and thank you to all the coaches for participating, hanging out with my guy there, Michael Lombardi. Step into my office. These are three pretty interesting matchups coming up on Thanksgiving. We're going to be here live, so we're going to have in-game betting and opportunities for you with, of course, the Lions hosting the Bears. That number's 3.5 right now. Does that feel right to you?
Neither team has announced a starting quarterback. How about that? That line's 3.5, and if you look at the board, there's no quarterbacks in the starter.
Yep.
Undecided. The undecided may be the best quarterback on Detroit. That might be the best quarterback on Detroit.
That ain't cool. That's not cool.
Patrick, they've thrown for 77 yards in 2 games in a row.
Well, it's a running league,
How hard
bro.
is that to do? Huh?
It's a running league.
It is a running league. It is a running league.
We've decided to turn into a running team without Barry Sanders. Oh, the lot in life. Be born in Michigan, they said. Why? Well, what's the point? It's cold. It's ridiculous. Anyway, 3.5 there. Las Vegas at Dallas. That number is 7. Everybody's 7 with Dallas Lane. Does that feel right?
You know, I thought it was going to be, and I don't know what my numbers would have said. I haven't run my numbers, but I'm leaning towards taking Dallas. I mean, I think Dallas will bounce back and play well. I think Las Vegas on the road when they have to travel, I don't see it with them. Their offensive line hasn't played very well. Carr doesn't look like the same player he did in September. And I think this defense, and I've said it all year on this program, I never bought the Gus Bradley hire. I don't buy all the guys they've drafted, all this talent they supposedly have on defense. I don't see it. Do I think Max Crosby's a good player? Yeah. Is Ndikwe a good player? Yeah, sure. He runs past the quarterback, gets personal fouls on him. Yesterday, personal foul was the most inexcusable thing you could ever see. I would have taken him. See, to me, Bisaccia loses it. He should have just taken him over to the bench. Like, that was a dumb play. Mm-hmm. But when you're the interim, you don't want to offend anybody.
Right.
That's what makes it so hard.